Say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile. Whoa.
Oh, gritting with it. Gritting and
Felt like a
grinding.
middle schooler.
Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm your host, Coach Veee, and I'm joined by my favorite white guy who dresses really fly, Dr. Drye. Man, that shirt is nice. That is a nice shirt.
Yeah, getting high, flying a kite. Just Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase doing the gritty better than any of us could do it. Anyway, yeah, how's your week going, Coach V?
So I had a terrible fantasy week. I went 0-4
Good.
and realized that I've got a lot of Lions across all of my teams.
Okay.
And so with the Lions on bye, I really was in trouble, but that's okay. I don't give a rip about bye week. I'd rather load up on a lot of great, because like the Lions are the team where you can have a lot of guys on the Lions. But
Yeah.
because of that, I was like starting guys like Royce Freeman in my RB1 spot. I was starting Devin Singletary in like a RB2 spot. Like all these guys, they were basically from last week where people were like, yeah, I guess throw them in. I was like, hey, welcome to RB1 territory this week. And
Yeah, that is stinky.
yeah, so as predicted, they all let me down.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and had Tank Dell going off on my bench, but we still love him.
Oh,
He's a great guy. We love him, and he did nothing wrong. I'm the idiot, not him. So yeah, bad fantasy week, but I'm not in it to be the best of all time. I'm in it to have a good time, and I'm
there you
definitely
go.
still having a good time. How about your week in fantasy football?
It was good. I had the two B's. I had the brains and the balls to bench Puka Nakua. Favorite of our show. We love the guy, but I don't know. Something told me I was like, you know what, this Brett Ripien guy, he's ass. Like, let's not roll with Puka this week, and made the right move. Put our boy Tank Dell in there. And that's what this episode's all about is our boy Tank Dell. So he put up 29 points, finished as the wide receiver 1 overall. He's like a son to me. I love him. Let's cue it up. Where is it? Hang on.
Can I get a DELL YEAH, brother?
Oh yeah,
That's right.
first
So
yeah.
that could have went way smoother, by the way. So anyway, yeah. So we got the Candyman in here. We got Superfan Matt. We got everybody. So yeah, Skits. And Skits is a good dancer too. He's a big fella, but man, can he rumble?
No way. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I went 3-1. I actually lost to the Candyman in a regular season league that I just don't care about because my team's not very good. I've kind of hit that point where it's like I'll update, but that's about it. But we got a heck of a show for you guys tonight, all two of you, and hopefully we can get more people in here. But first, and we got a new surprise for you that Vinny shared with me that very excited to roll out. But first, we have the Hillshire Farms Holiday Sausage, Cheese, and Cracker gift basket list of disappointment. And on there are just the people that we're a little worried about. We're not dropping these people. We're not mad. We're just disappointed. So who do you have on your Hillshire list?
So Hillshire list, for me, the Hillshire list is all about people who were like set up, should have been good, no reason things should have went wrong, and then it went wrong. And so for me, my Hillshire Farms Award winner this week is Travis Kelce. No, honestly, that whole game was kind of a dud. Mahomes does just enough. I mean, like, man, really, honestly, I mean, like, Rashee Rice gets his touch, but like the whole game was kind of a dud. But Travis Kelce, who is a lot of people's first round pick, had a not so first round pick kind of game. So that was an ugly, ugly week for Travis Kelce. So big, I would imagine. I'm not a Kelce owner anywhere, but I would imagine you Kelce owners out there, you didn't draft him for that. And so it was
He's a
just
bum.
you're probably pissed this week. That might be the make or break for you, because if you have Kelce, that means you don't have Justin Jefferson, you don't have Jamar Chase, you don't have Tyreek Hill, you have Travis Kelce, and to put up that pathetic amount is kind of sad. So that's why he's on my list this week. What about you?
We talked about him a little bit already, and I'm gonna put another guy on there too, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Sometimes people end up on this list to no fault of their own, but their situation, a la Bijan Robinson, and others. But I am really worried about that QB situation. Did you see who they brought in
LA?
Yeah.
No, who'd they bring in?
I'll give you a hint. He is the dumbest quarterback we have ever seen, with the worst decision making, who has played for several teams in the last few years. High draft pick.
Oh, I'm blanking. Who is it?
Carson Wentz.
No! I did see that.
Yeah. So he is now the LA Rams QB, which worries me to death for poor little Pikachu and sweet Cooper Cupcake. So two great receivers, two Hall of Fame receivers, who now have to deal with Carson Ash Cheese Wentz throwing him the ball. It's not good. I mean, but here's the thing: he do slang that thing though, so you gotta respect that. So, but at the same time, he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. He's going to fumble twice every drive. You're going to have to deal with drives all of a sudden being ripped out from under you. Very worried about Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, mainly because of just their situation. Hopefully Matt Stafford's okay and he starts back soon. So you're not dropping these folks, but maybe it's a situational start. Like last week, I pulled Puka Nacua. Smart move. I do think he's a step up from Ripien, but he's still, an idiot quarterback that you really don't want throwing your guys the ball. So that's who I'm worried about.
Yeah, as you should be. That's going to be tough. So moving on to our
Matt knew.
Dang quiz. If I still had some of those candy from last week, I'd send some to Matt, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So our next award is the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award winner. Or loser, however you want to put that. And so, there's always plenty to pick from. There's plenty of rage on Sundays and Monday mornings or Monday evenings as you're dealing with what happened over the course of the week. But you got to pick someone. And so I feel like yours is our best looking Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award winner of the year. Really sad on the list.
Well, we had Joe Burrow on there, but he's hidden by the advertisement. But yeah, I mean, George Shittens, he had -1 yards. Like, I had more yards than that. You had more yards than that. Superfan Matt had more yards than that. The Candyman had more yards than that. So, there's 4 people who aren't even in the NFL that have more yards than George Pickens. He did have more catches than us. So he had 1.9 points for fantasy in a PPR in America. Non-PPR, -0.1. So yeah, he really S the B on this one. He's so inconsistent. I'd like to say if he would get volume, he'd really be something, but he's not going to get that. And now he's like really unhappy in Pittsburgh. But buddy, you're like a week late from the trade deadline. You should have started bitching a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I can see how he's frustrated. I don't think it's going to turn around unless he gets traded or something. So George Pickens, you're on the Shit the Bed Award. Not someone that you can trust on a week in, week out basis. You definitely don't feel comfortable with him in your lineup. Like there are some guys that you just set it and forget it, and you don't have to worry about them. But George Pickens, he's somebody that you're definitely worried about. But if you don't want to worry about your lineup, make sure you go over to Underdog Fantasy, use code Fifth Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. That's your first deposit only. So you put $50 in, it becomes 100. You put 100 in, it becomes 200. You could be like us, have 200 and turn it into $6. So lots of different ways it could go. But make sure you use Fifth Quarter Fantasy whenever you sign up for Underdog.
That's right. So my person is someone who might be losing their spot on your lineup, but also might be losing their spot as an NFL starting quarterback. And so Geno Smith is my Fed Award winner. It just seems like things are kind of heading in the wrong direction with him. If he puts together another showing, I mean, he got pulled at the end of that, like a mercy pull at the end of that game this past week. And so if things keep trajecting in the wrong direction, I think you're going to see Drew Lock in his place because they kind of want to kick the tires on that kid, see what he's got. And so I like Geno. Geno salvaged my season for me last year. He's a great story, but he's just not playing well. That was ugly football on Sunday. And so yeah, Geno, pick yourself up a pack of Pampers baby wipes and clean yourself off and get off this shit the bed award winner list because hey, there's some people on this list who've redeemed themselves. Do that, but you can't do that if you're not starting at quarterback anymore. So that could be a problem for Geno.
Yeah, and that's kind of a theme with the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award. And oddly enough, these guys, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, are actually sponsored by Sleep Number, but they're not gonna probably ever end up on this list. So yeah, I mean the Sleep Number S, the B, once you get on there, it looks like it's over, right? Well, look at some of the people who are on there. Devontae Smith has had a bounce back week here and there. Jahan Dotson, he was on our 11th McNugget Award last week, and surprise, he's on there this week again too. So I love it whenever people end up on a list twice. Joe Burrow left for dead in week 4. He's bounced back. The Ravens, they're back. So we put you on this list. You're about to ball out. T. Higgins, he had a big week. Yeah. So I mean, everyone else pretty much shit the bed, but Josh Kelly's not winning any leagues anywhere or anything like that. So that is our S the B award. Now next we have our favorite award. And first award from Matt.
Yes, Superfan Matt. He's worried about those. He's worried about those Steelers overall because we're going to make sure we have plenty of space in our shows to give Arthur Smith lots and lots of shit. And you know what? Let's give Matt Canada shit too. F that guy. He's really
go back to Canada, you butt cheese boy.
Okay, so our 11th McNugget, we have a few nugs in here. Who do we got from you, Dr. Drye?
Well, let's see. We got C.J. Stroud. I think he's the obvious one. He doesn't average 41 fantasy points a game, but he got you 41 fantasy points this week. Probably on someone's bench though. So anyway, great surprise though. What I love about it is he got the ball to our boy Tank Dell. That's huge. He got the ball over to Dalton Schultz, who I believe that Candyman started over in a dynasty league, which is crazy because and that's not even a tight end spot. So he did score most of the points on that team, but in a losing effort, but he did his best. But I mean, mostly it's all about.
Can I get a DELL YEAH, brother?
Ooh.
So Tank Dell just going off. And that was a strong can I get a DELL YEAH, brother, too. Noah Brown, he did well. Nico Collins, getting in the touchdown, getting 6 points. So Nico, just salsaing away. I don't know why he has that associated with his name, but anyway, and it's all because of C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud found his stride. So he landed himself on the Week 9 McDonald's 11th McNugget Award, and that's a promise.
The promise. And so your other boy on this list is that Mr. White there?
Yep, that's Mr. White, Rashad White. And I've never seen him before. This was my first time actually seeing him. He's a good-looking guy with nice hair. So Rashad White lands on the McNugget Award this week. And Tampa Bay, kind of a shit offense. Not winning any leagues as an offense, but man, they're finally using him how we wanted him to be used. I think I only have him in one spot, but only in one league, but I keep starting him every week just because there's no other options at running back, and he's solid enough, right? So I think he has an okay enough floor of like 6 to 8 points, which you're not thrilled about, but we could get like 2 from Dameon Pierce or something, so it could be worse. But yeah, we're starting to see that ceiling of Rashad White, and he's not even going off really. He only had 4 catches, but he got in the end zone twice. So you kind of take what you can get with those PPR type running backs. So great job, Rashad White. The other guy that I have on here is not Arthur Smith. So Arthur Smith, that guy. He sucks. His mustache sucks. His offense sucks. He probably doesn't even know who's on his team. We were joking about he probably calls Kyle Pitts Kenny Pitts or something. Like he doesn't even know his star's name. He probably calls Brian. He probably thinks Brian Robinson's on the roster instead of Bijan Robinson. Jonnu Smith is John Smith or something. So he probably doesn't even know his players' names, and maybe that's why he's not using anybody. So Arthur Smith, you're not on the list, but we put it on there. And then you have a guy that you've put on here 2 weeks in a row. Who's that man?
Well, I just love Jahan Dotson. It's just like making a comeback, because he was one we were so high on. And he was one that I held on to for so long. And I kind of dropped him in half my leagues and held him in the other half. And now I'm like, okay, man, let's do it. Let's play football. You can be back on the team. You can be back into the starting roster.
Welcome to the team.
So it's just nice to see it happen 2 weeks in a row. On our show that'll drop on Thursday, we're going to talk a little bit more about Washington overall and Sam Howell and what you can do with them. But it's looking like he's finding that stride, because I don't know if you heard this, but basically in training camp, they were seeing Dotson as their Tyreek Hill type. That's what they wanted from him. And so to see him starting to get that action, I'm just like, please, please, please don't revert back to the shit zone that you were in. Stay with us now. So Dotson's my 11th McNugget. I was going to say on Rashad White, he's kind of like what we hoped would happen for Alexander Madison. We drafted him because he's the only option. They don't got anything better. And Madison's just kind of muddled around all season, a little up, a little down, not really doing much, and then started competing for snaps. Now Cam Akers' ankle or something is snapped in half, so he's done. And so, Madison owners, I don't know if there's anything there. When he was the only guy, he didn't do anything. But Rashad White's kind of like what we had hoped for Madison, but it's actually happening for Rashad White. So people who believed in him and thought, hey, I'm going to draft him, there's no one else there. They're getting rewarded with a really great floor guy who can just kind of produce week in and week out. Good on you for being bold or not being bold. I don't know. If you drafted him,
you followed your heart.
You did something. You followed your heart.
Yeah. You kept him on there. I came up with a really good analogy of that dynasty league that me and you were in, the Butt Cheese Boy Invitational, and my team we're on a win streak. We've won 2 in a row. Problem is, we lost 6 in a row before that and started out 1-0. So we're 3-6. Which you would look at that record and be like, oh, I'm about to run over that team. Well, buddy, I got the 3rd most points in the league, and I'm not, and the second place one is 1 point ahead. So basically second most. Yeah. And but my points against is kind of crazy. The way I phrase it is, we are a good team with a bad record. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of our 3 listeners are in the same boat. Sometimes you have a good team with a bad record. I've seen bad teams with good records. It happens. If you just, you go against the team that sucks, or if you're able to motivate, I know Skittles likes to motivate his team to, I guess, just, I don't know, the other team to do bad. They have their worst week against them. They're scared. They're intimidated. So, it's that Candyman effect. So anyway, that's our 11th McNugget Award. Very excited to have Jahan, CJ, Rashad, and Anti-Arthur Smith on there. So anyway, now we have a couple of topics of discussion. We fully encourage everybody to kind of get involved. We'll show your comments up, give you a shout out, all that. But we are going to talk about a couple things. The potential return of Justin Jefferson and what that kind of looks like, what that means. Is it even happening? And then we're also going to look at first round draft picks and where are they now. So we're going to see who was worth it, who S the B, who's hurt, all that, and at the end of the day, were they a first round pick or would you rather have gotten them later or something? And we'll maybe even scroll down a little bit through that ADP and see who maybe should have been a first round pick. So sometimes it's good to just circle back around. But before we get into that, I believe Coach V has a message for us.
Yeah, so had a local auto dealer reach out and wanted to sponsor the show, and I was like, well, we got these awards, but they're all tied up with other sponsors. And so he's like, oh, can I just make a little 30-second spot? And I said, yeah, sure, So anyways, so here's a little 30-second spot from one of our sponsors, Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet.
Hey folks, Ken Pilkerton here from Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet. Hey, why don't you come on down to Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet this weekend? We got a $19.99 sale. You want a brand new Chevrolet, I can put you on for $19.99 a day. You want a half new Chevrolet, I can put you in one for $19.99 a day. You want an old ass Chevrolet, I can put you in for $19.99 a day. That's right, folks. Come on down to Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet. Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet at 2222 Blue Boulevard. Come on down to Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet today. Grab your handful of check mix. I put you in Chevrolet today for $19.99.
All right, thanks,
Right.
Ken. So Ken having a ball making that ad there. And yeah, I mean, head on down. Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet, $19.99 sale. Not bad.
Yeah. If you've got $19,999 sitting around, make sure you put 100 of that into Underdog and use fifth quarter fantasy cast, and then take the remaining $19,899, head down to Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet, and get yourself a Chevy.
Yeah, good luck finding it. I don't know what street that was, but he's out there somewhere.
Thanks for joining the show. Yeah, I mean, I guess he couldn't officially sponsor. We have pretty big sponsors like McDonald's, Sleep Number, Hillshire Farms.
I explained what it would cost to kind of bump Hillshire Farms or McDonald's, and he was like, I'm a local dealership. I don't have the money to do that. And so I was like, all right, well, I can just give you a little spot on the show. But I was like, hey, if you want to pony up and bump McDonald's from the 11th McNug, we'll figure out a way to work that in to Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet. I don't know, I don't know. I don't know what is there an extra of on a vehicle, like the spare tire, you're the spare tire. I'm not really excited or pleasantly surprised by a spare tire, so I don't know what to do with that. So
I mean, he'd probably give his left lug nut to get one of these awards, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's McDonald's, Sleep Number, Hillshire. Thank you so much for keeping the lights on here. It's a big production, and we appreciate everything. Ken Pilkerton, maybe one day. So yeah, I guess we'll just get into the return of Justin Jefferson. Right. He's eligible. So reports are he's not coming back this week, right? So, but I know whenever he went on IR and they were like, all right, probably a 4 to 6 week injury, we were like, okay, he's coming back. But if they lose all these games while he's out, he's probably not coming back because what for, right? It's sort of like whenever a team's playing in some random BS bowl game, but you've got an NFL future, you're sitting that thing out. Who cares? You're not competing for a national title or anything like that. So kind of the professional version of that. And so we're expecting, and then Kirk Cousins went down. I'm like, all right, they're going to start losing now. Well, Jordan Daddison and Josh Dobbs of the world, all these players do their part. The Vikings go 4-0 during this stretch. And so now they're over 500. I haven't checked the rankings, but I'm sure they are either very close to a playoff spot or in some sort of tiebreaker for the last spot or something. Yeah. Maybe one of our listeners can bring that up in the comments or something. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy what they've done without Justin Jefferson. And it looked pretty bad whenever they had the rookie in there. He went down. We don't cheer for injuries, but Josh Dobbs is in there now. So, and Astro Dobbs, that guy is out of this world. He just like he came through. The guy's brilliant. We knew about him from his UT days. Now the world's learning more and more about him. Like the guy just shows up and balls out at any chance he can. And he, you know, he didn't even know the damn playbook. Like it was just called in like while he was in the huddle, and the dude is so smart. So anyway, so now you got future Hall of Famer Josh Dobbs throwing the ball over in Minnesota, which changes things a bit. So the 21-day window has opened for Justin Jefferson. Will he show up or not? I think he does come back, but I think they still need to. It's not going to be this week. It'll be maybe in a week or two. But that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I think Dobbs's play is really helping this out, and that's him playing without really being with the team for 4 or 5 days. So give him a week to study, to be on the same page. And so I think he's making it a hospitable environment where Jefferson wants to be back. And, it's one thing, Jefferson could come back and let's say, we're rolling with some shit quarterback. Well, just because he's back doesn't mean he's productive. I don't know if Justin Jefferson is quarterback proof. He's always had someone relatively competent to throw him the ball. So I like him coming back with someone like Josh Dobbs, who's fine throwing the ball. He's
a gamer. Yeah.
He's unfazable. Like he could throw a pick and get sacked and fumble for a safety, and he's like, okay, cool, next play. Like he's down. He's just ready to play ball.
He doesn't even raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have eyebrows though. But
we love him. But when you love people, you make fun of them. And it feels like because of the UT connection, it's like we go way back because we were like. We know who he is. Like I saw like an article on like Yahoo today, and it was like, "Who is Josh Dobbs?" And I was like, "We all know
who isn't Josh Dobbs." Yeah, no, we know that he had classes with our friend Hunter from Fox's Pizza, so we kind of were best friends with Josh Dobbs for over a decade now.
But so yeah, I think the quarterback play is really gonna, and that's why they did it. That's why they made the move. They saw something in Dobbs, so. His quarterback play is going to make Jefferson come back and hopefully have Jefferson be productive. I could see this actually working out pretty well. I mean, maybe not NFL implications, playoffs and all that shit, but just like fantasy wise, I could see this really working out.
Yeah, it definitely could. I mean, it's I saw someone propose this and I thought it was crazy, but like, and I'm not sure where Jefferson's contract stands right now. I know they were in talks of a major extension. It hasn't happened yet. And they did go ahead and pay Hawkinson. I know they value Jefferson a ton, but like what's going to stop, I don't know, maybe salary cap would stop it, but what's going to stop him from joining the Bengals, playing with his buddy Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and creating probably the best passing offense we may have ever seen? Like, or that those are big words. I'm not going to say that, but like a very, very good offense with all of them there. And there's something to be said about that college connection. You see it a lot more here in the NFL where those college receivers are getting their college quarterback at the professional level. You see Burrow Chase, you see Tua Waddle, you see Hurts and Smith.
Yeah.
You see there's others, trust me. So anyway, it's out there.
Tank Dell didn't Stroud though, did he? No,
but Stroud wanted him, and that's why like I'm so big on Tank Dell, and that's why I knew, and I was like, yeah, like this is the guy. Like draft night, CJ Stroud was like, go get Tank Dell. Same thing with like Patrick Mahomes. He handpicked Rashee Rice. Yeah. Rice is going to be the guy. He's the only KC receiver that you want to own, probably more long-term, more of a dynasty kind of thing, which you traded him over to Superfan Matt today. Yeah. But you have a lot of young guys, so, I mean, it kind of helps both of you. Speaking of our boy Matt, he tuned in with a nice question. What's your guys' thoughts on the Daniel Jones injury? Also, how about Aiden O'Connell start? Dobbs went off. Yeah, Dobbs went off. We just kind of, kissed him a whole bunch. But Daniel Jones injury, like he was already on the S the B award. He was one of those that didn't turn it around. I don't know, the Giants looking real small. Like it's not looking good for them. I think just throw this season away for the New York Giants. I think if I'm Saquon, if I tweak a hamstring or something, all of a sudden that hurts a lot more, and I'm probably not gonna finish out the year. And then I don't know, just it's just one of those throwaway seasons. I forget they're starting some guy with like a real New York name, like Tommy DeVito or something in New York. So I mean that's kind of fun, kind of like when Gardner Minshew was the Florida man, starting down in Jacksonville and wearing jorts and shit, and so Tommy DeVito, that could be a fun thing moving forward. Like even if he's not doing well, like I'll still tune into that. And then Aiden O'Connell, he's the mustache man. I like Aiden O'Connell. I know he looked really good in preseason. He was someone to kind of keep an eye on. And they're all in on not Damian Pierce, Antonio Pierce as the new coach out there. I would have loved to see Devontae Adams get the ball a bit more. I didn't get to watch the game, but I think Aiden O'Connell's a lot better than having Jimmy Grapes out there for sure.
Yeah, and as far you can just tell the whole kind of the way everyone feels in the locker room and on the field. It's definitely the Raiders are more like a players team right now, where the players are running the show. The players are happy. They got a player coach. And so there's a lot to say about that when just everyone's just in a better mood. They were kind of dealing with a lot of shit there. And why not kick the tires on your future? They're not going anywhere in that division this year. They know it. Everyone knows it. So let's just see what Aiden O'Connell can do. It's kind of like the Titans with Will Levis, announcing him as the starter. It's like it's our best chance probably moving forward. But it's also just an opportunity to see what this kid's got, because we might need to draft another quarterback. We don't know. The quicker you can get that info, the better.
Yeah, definitely. So I am sharing my screen, and let's see. I don't know, it might be kind of small. I'm on my laptop, but anyway, kind of moving on, and we'll get to your other question, Matt. Vinny, or Coach V, if you want to handle the questions while I get all this loaded up.
Yes, so Superman Matt is asking about Kyler Murray. And so, Kyler Murray, after the way things looked in Arizona this past week, best believe that Kyler Murray is starting this week. I went ahead and stashed him in a few leagues. I think there could be something there. We like Kyler Murray. He's a dual threat. He's just keep throwing the ball, even if you're down 40-0. Like, he's going to throw and just be a fantasy gold mine pretty much regardless. And so in that situation, I love Kyler Murray. I don't know if you want Kyler Murray starting for your squad this week, because there could be some significant rust. But with four great quarterbacks on bye this week. So we're talking Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not great quarterback. Matt Stafford and on bye. Miami, Tua, and then Hurts. I mean, those are some, those three are starting quarterbacks alone. You might be looking for someone. And so Kyler Murray does have a lot of high ceiling. But I would imagine with this get the rust off game, his floor could be really low. So it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think, moving forward, maybe after that kick the rust up game, you got to quote Luke Bryan, after that, I mean, I think it's great for Marquise Brown. Once again, one of those that's another example of those college QB wide receiver combos. Big reason of why he came to Arizona, play with his college quarterback over at Oklahoma. So So I mean, yeah, I think it's great for Marquise Brown. They have a great rapport together. Kyler's going to give him the ball better than anyone else can, and maybe his stock goes way up. Also, be on the lookout. James Conner, I think he's coming back. Apparently, he's been feeling good. I think he's eligible to come off IR this week or next. I can't remember. But yeah, James Conner coming back. So that Arizona offense, it's going to be back to really rolling here, which will be good for like 27th in the league or something, but much better than the 33rd they're at now. So, so yeah. Anyway, good stuff. And then let's see, we got Trey McBride. Yeah, I know they've been high on Trey McBride, so definitely a good possibility there. So kind of moving on to our next segment, or our last segment of the night, which is first round draft picks and where are they now. I think it's good to kind of look at these things sometimes and just see, was it worth it where I drafted this person. So we'll look at and even though he wasn't the one overall, I don't know, I might be looking at weird ADP on Sleeper right now, but Christian McCaffrey, he was, drafted around anywhere from like 1 to 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Usually pretty high up. He has definitely, met the return. He's everything that you would want in your first round pick. So I'd say he gets an A+ out of the first rounders. Pretty obvious. The clear cut one. I don't think anybody's even close. I don't think you're comfortable with anyone else at running back as you are Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Vinny, what do you think?
Yeah, he's an easy one to grade as an A. Lived up to his ADP for sure. And, I don't know. They seem to be managing him well. So hopefully he stays healthy and continues to be like that.
Yeah, I love how they're managing him. I think he gets all the touches he needs, and I think how they're managing his load. It isn't even by like volume. It's by situation, maybe, where they're taking him out at the right spots where you don't even notice it as a fantasy owner.
Yeah.
Next we have Justin Jefferson. Pretty obvious 1.1. Him and Jamar Chase were sometimes like flip flopped. I don't know. I don't think there's any regrets taking him at 1 either. I think it's just injuries are part of the game, and it sucks that it happened.
Right.
But going back on it, knowing everything that you knew in preseason, you're not picking anyone else. So it's it's not like you had too much of a choice between him and the next guy, other than who's on my shirt. But I mean, you're most likely going Jettas here, and I think you're cool with it too. He was putting up, basically it was like him and Tyreek Hill, and those were the receivers, and you're happy with that. And if you take someone 1 overall, if they finish top 5, top 6 overall, you're very happy with them. Like, they don't have to finish 1. As long as, they're top 5 at their position, I think you're extremely happy with that first round pick.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he put up around 100 fantasy points in 4 weeks.
Crazy.
He got injured, and it wasn't like he had like a 60-point week and then like 3 10-point weeks. He had basically 4 20-plus point weeks. So just consistent production. What kind of people used to draft running backs for in the first round, that's kind of the numbers he was putting up. And so barring the injury, which injuries happen, you can't predict them, he would still be your number 1.
Here's the thing with Jefferson. All right, if you're looking at a 12-team PPR league, he hasn't played in a month. He hasn't played in 4 weeks, and he's still the wide receiver 23. So he's a wide receiver 2. Hasn't played in a month.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there. I'll let you lead with this one.
So Eckler, he was in that same conversation with CMC as far as coming off the board and running backs. I don't know. Like, I felt like even though Eckler might be a little bit older, I just felt like there was less risk with Eckler than there was with CMC as far as injury is concerned.
Yeah, I think we had him both over CMC as like the number 1.
Because he just didn't have that history of getting hurt and missing a lot of time. And so, for the first time in his career, at least as far as I've been concerned with like following his career, like he's just dealing with the injury bug. But the past 2 weeks, he's looking good. He's moving well again. He had some drops, some uncharacteristic drops last night in the passing game, but outside of that, he looked like himself. They're giving him the ball in all the right situations so he can score. Hopefully, just keep Joshua Kelly off to the sideline. Never let that guy back into the game.
Yeah, he's a habitual butt cheese boy for sure. So,
Joshua Kelly. But the stats are the stats, and the games he was in where he looked kind of funky. So he's definitely not grading out at an A. I would give him like hopefully. I think he's going to finish the season as like a B. Just dealing with the injuries and stuff, but.
You're cool with him, but I think you'd rather have gotten him in the second round. I think you'd be cool with him if you drafted him in the second round.
Yeah.
Like you're satisfied at that point. But I mean, yeah, it's and the crazy thing is with Eckler this year, and it might be the new OC, we're not seeing the targets that like he's still putting up the stats, he's still getting the receptions, but man, what could be like it's and it's I think he obviously was hurt for a few weeks, bye week, came back a little rusty the first couple weeks, and then and then we put him on that Hillshire list, and and he turned it around. So, but he's not getting on the 11th McNugget award because he's not a good surprise. Like we expect it, we know it. Like he's proven it year in year out. He's had the most touchdowns out of like everybody by a lot over the last few years, and he even missed a few games there. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're okay with Eckler. He's not where you drafted him top 5, but whatever. So, Travis Kelce, Travis Swift, and he was someone that like I really wasn't interested because honestly I'm not in a lot of leagues that have a tight end spot. Like I'm in a lot of WRT leagues where it's flex, and Travis Kelce's pretty much the only tight end that's taken in the draft, and that's it. I do have him in my one tight end league, and it's great. It's such a great positional value. Now playing it from the, I guess, perspective of like, hey, I have to start a tight end. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it at 5. But he's obviously putting up points and everything. I think you're more comfortable with him like beginning of second round where he was going like last year. So I think he's a little bit disappointing, like a B right now.
Yeah, and as far as him, I'd say B is a fine grade just looking at him. But if you're in a league where a tight end is acquired, I think you're seeing a correction at tight end this year. There's a lot more options available. Whatever has happened the past few years where you really could only trust like 3 tight ends, it seems like that's starting to shift, and maybe there's going to be a stock of about 8 to 10, 11 tight ends that you can trust, at least with a floor of about 8, 9 points. So I'm glad to see that there's more options, at least this year. And it does seem like maybe that's going to be a trend going forward. I mean, think about like Dalton Kincaid. Now he's coming on. You're seeing folks like Mark Andrews. He's going to be there, but like Donkey Teeth's kind of up and down. Now he's hurt. And so it's almost like maybe there's a changing over of the guard. Some of those like older players are going to start fading out, and we got a lot of younger, newer tight ends who are kind of going up, and the offenses are scheming around it. So as far as Kelce himself, I'd say B is a good grade. But if you're in do you want him first round? I don't think so. You would rather just hold off on that. I've never been that guy. It's a specific person
me either.
who's doing that, who's playing that game.
Yeah. Oh, here's a fun one.
Oh man. Oh, so high. So high.
He was our sweet baby Bijan. And it's not his fault. Like if they just get rid of butt cheese boy extraordinaire Arthur Smith, like he will get the ball. And I even think it could, even if he was in like a timeshare similar to Detroit's, like where they have Gibbs and Montgomery, and I think both of them can survive. Like both of them can eat with, Bijan and Algier. I think they're both good backs, but that would really give Bijan a chance to shine. And anyway, so he's your RB 15 right now. You drafted him, RB 3 ish, right? Yeah. Like maybe mid first round, and he has not really put up the points. Like usually you're good if they're within like a few positions of that. Like if he were to be the RB 7 right now, you'd be cool with it. But RB's so bad, and he's still 15th. So Bijan, you're not happy with him as your first round pick. I think, and you did nothing wrong by taking him there. Like it was the right move. Everything looked like it was going to be Saquon rookie year all over again. But with Bijan. But anyway, the stars aligned, and Arthur Smith took a shit on him. So I mean, I don't know what to give him. I like him, but he's just not getting the volume. I'm gonna give him a question mark grade. And but as far as the production you're getting, you're not happy with it. You're probably looking at maybe he should, like, if ADP was only like high third, like you'd be happy with him as like your third rounder or something.
Yeah, I would say, like if I had to grade him just based on production alone, I would give him probably a C.
Yeah.
Especially
you expect more
from what you paid for him. And yeah, we're not bashing on little baby Bijan. He's a cutie pie. You just want to eat him up. But yeah, there's nothing you can do there when you got this mustache man running the show. So
yeah. Man, yeah, that was disappointing. Jamar Chase, a lot of people taking him as the, usually number 2 overall, right? And most of the time top 5. I think you're happy with him. Kind of a slow start. It was rough. He was like, I'm always fucking open, and then we saw he is always open, he is getting the ball, and he is him, and his pronouns are him and him. So, so Jamar Chase, I think you're very happy with where he's at. Kind of a slow start. I'm gonna give him. He kind of put up a little bit of a dud this week, but he'll bounce right back. You don't really worry about him. He's Joe Burrow's best friend. I'm still giving him an A. I think you're very happy with him wherever you got him.
Yeah, I think as of today, you feel like he's probably an A for you. But it is a little concerning, him having. Let's just see, Joe's back. For him to kind of have a disappear game this past game, is there more to his back injury that we're getting? Is more going to kind of trickle out about that? Because it seems like he kind of faded himself on purpose because he kind of needs to. So anyways, hopefully no big deal there. But back injuries can be tricky, and I just hope he finishes the season well. But his production up to this point, you're fine. But I think there's worry that he could finish and you could feel like he was like a B or a C based on what you paid.
Yeah. Oh
man.
Yeah, he got hurt. Let's see how he started, I guess. 16.7 week 1 and then got hurt. We'll take that one out. But yeah, rest in peace, Nick Chubb. I mean, injuries happen. It sucks. You're probably, I don't know, maybe you found someone good on the waiver wire, like a Devon A-Chain or something. Yeah. Speaking of the Dolphins,
here we go.
So, Tyreek Hill, A+++++.
Yeah.
He is the guy that if you drafted him like number 3 overall, like you got a bargain because that's the one right there. So we saw a major floor game from him this week. It was still 12 points.
Yeah.
Like he was like shut down for 12 points. Like that is insane. So I mean, he's just the best receiver in the game right now. I know Jefferson's hurt, but goodness, Tyreek Hill is great to have on here. Do you have him in any of your leagues?
No, I couldn't get him anywhere.
Did you pass on him in any of your leagues, or just
Oh
always have a late draft pick?
no, I never passed on Tyreek. That's that's like number one life rule. Don't pass on Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, and I think me and you were in the same boat on that with this preseason. We were like, man, all of my drafts I have like pick 7 through 12, like
Yeah,
somewhere in there. Like I never have the opportunity to get one of those top end guys,
yeah,
and you kind of want that diversity in preseason. And whenever you're in multiple leagues, like okay, like I got the number 2 pick here. I'm gonna take Chase, and then my other league I'm at 9, so I'm gonna take Nick Chubb or like something good. But yeah, Tyreek Hill, extremely happy wherever you drafted him. He's the number 1 player in fantasy right now. Number 10 overall. That includes quarterbacks. So he's out producing a lot of quarterbacks.
yeah.
So I mean, extremely happy with Tyreek Hill. Not enough accolades you can throw at the guy. The cheetah is here. So next you got Saquon, and this is getting toward the end of the first.
Yeah.
You're definitely looking at like your 8 to 11, 12
Yeah.
kind of picks. Some places he went early second. He was someone I was staying away from just from the holdout situation. I just didn't like it. And the thing is, like, I don't know. You know me, I'm not a Josh Jacobs guy. So I mean, Saquon, he was someone I was a little more in on than Josh Jacobs, but I'm kind of avoiding both. Like, I would rather go Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, he was someone I was always targeting late first round because I was like, hey, he's better than these other guys. I don't know why everybody's taking all these other injury prone running backs and all that. It's your first round pick. It's important. Like, you need to be able to depend on this person. You can't have some streaky first round player. But Saquon, you got the injury history, you got the the holdout situation. You're probably not happy with him, like at this point either. He's the RB24 right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you give him I feel like he disappears on like every other week. I don't know. You're still probably starting him if you have him just because of that high draft capital, but I think you're probably giving him like a C minus at least.
Yeah, that's probably where I would put him production wise. And then, if you look at his situation, you're giving him like a D or a F. There's just no way. I mean, you could argue, well, he's the only option, but at the same time, you could argue, but you're the only option. So that's a problem too. So it's a terrible situation. I'm glad I feel like we were both on the same page, kind of staying away from that, mainly because of the holdout, but then it paid off in other respects.
Yeah, definitely. Derrick Henry, he is the number 6 running back right now, which seems high, but but anyway, I guess he's kind of surprising you a little bit. In a bad offense. You get to watch more Titans stuff than I do, being local down there. I guess how would you feel about Derrick Henry as like your 10th to 12th guy off the board?
I mean, I didn't believe in it just because I just didn't believe. I just don't like getting guys on bad offenses, and so I just thought Titans offense sucks overall. He started to show some wear and tear last year. I honestly thought that was going to progress this year, and I'm shocked that he hasn't missed a game yet. So I'm not sure, what's been different this year. I know Tajay Spears taking a little bit of relief, but not much. He's still, look at his carries. He's still pounding the ball there.
We're still waiting on Spears season, but
yeah.
One day.
If you took Derrick Henry at the back end of the first round, you're probably pleasantly surprised, honestly. You may have taken him kind of unhappily as just more like, well, I guess I'll just do this here because it's better. And you're kind of pleasantly surprised with the production being the number 6 RB overall. I mean, he's outshining your Bijans, he's outshining your Ecklers, he's outshining your Saquons. He's the king for a reason. So, and I'm the proud new owner of some king stock. So I'm going to play with that.
Nice.
I'm going to play with that this weekend. Get my shiny toy out and play with it.
There you go. And so I mean, it's one of those things where I think he's one of those people that you draft him because of what he's done and not what he's about to do. So You have that past with him and what he's done. Anyway, yeah, it's just something that a lot of people are comfortable with. For time's sake, I don't think we're going to go through all these guys, but Stephon Diggs, like he's been, a top 3 receiver. I think you're extremely happy with him. I think he's someone that was going kind of like mid to late first round, and he ended up being more of a mid to early first round. So I think you're very happy with that. I'd give him an A+.
Yeah, I'd say him and Hill were in similar spots, mid to late, and their performance, they're both pushed to the front end of the first with their performance this year, being 1 and 3. So I don't know who's the number 2. Probably AJ
Probably
Brown.
this guy. Yep, AJ Brown. Yeah, we miss you over in Tennessee. Yeah, AJ Brown, man, like just he had that moment where he demanded the ball, kind of that squeaky wheel gets the oil, and AJ Brown, as soon as he was like, I need the ball, like yelled at Jalen Hurts, like, and that's why, like, I don't know. I know we were big Devontae Smith guys. Thought maybe he was the more consistent receiver because of he was Hurts' boy in college, right? So, and they have that rapport. AJ Brown more of the big play guy. Well, AJ Brown, like you don't see Devontae Smith saying, "I need the damn ball," like AJ Brown does. So that's how you know you're the alpha receiver. You get fed like that. When you don't get the ball, you bitch about it, and and you're him for a reason. So yeah, AJ Brown, very very happy with wherever you took him. Usually like a late first, early second. A+ for him. Just severely outperforming his ADP.
Push out. So does that wrap up our first rounders?
Well, I wanted to touch on this guy. So, which Matt brought up a good point. Adams has shit the bed this year, and he has. Like, I mean, he definitely, has, and I know he was someone I was avoiding oddly. Like, it was one of those things where, like, I had the chance to take Adams, would much rather take St. Brown, would much rather take an AJ Brown, someone like that. Just didn't take any Devontae Adams. And it was mainly because I was worried about that situation, and we've discussed it over in Las Vegas, where like he went there to go play with Derek Carr. He's not getting to play with Derek Carr. He's having to play with sexy Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
He's having to play with Aiden O'Connell, the mustache man. He's now part of a team that's very happy, so maybe he feels like he can't bitch and say, "Get me the ball," because they're winning now. It's just not a good situation. I don't think he's happy, or he wasn't happy. Now he has a likable coach, so maybe as long as they're winning, he's okay, which means he's not going to demand the ball, which sucks for fantasy. So I don't know, lots of different ways to look at it, but yeah, he's definitely S the B. So wanted to touch on him. And then
even games where he was playing with a better situation, he didn't really shine. So yeah, he's tough to get behind this year.
Right. Just gonna see how CD's doing. CD number 6 wide receiver. I think you're happy with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, we could go on and on all these guys, but at the end of the day, we took them or didn't take them, and sometimes it's good to just go over all that again. Didn't get any strangers in this week's episode, but whatever. It's all good. We appreciate Matt and the Candyman being here, and anyone else who comes by and watches later. Also, thank you to all of our sponsors, McDonald's, Sleep Number, Chevrolet, Hillshire Farms, all them boys.
Yeah.
So, Jacoby, he's the real one over in Las Vegas. You're right, Matt. So, not Devontae Adams. So, Jacoby Wan Kenobi. So anyway, on behalf of Coach V, I'm Dr. Drye. We're Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. And before you leave, I think there's 5 things that you need to do. And that is live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. Have a great one.